Thousands of years ago, the world as we know it was covered in dark, foreboding forests. Within these ancient forests lurked strange and frightening monsters, which would become the basis of most of the world's mythology, folklore, and fairy tales. Within the ancient forests hid man eating beasts, vicious hags, and boogeymen of all shapes and sizes, all of which died long before the modern era. They exist only in the imagination of those who have kept the wisdom of their ancestors alive in song, dance, and written stories. Yet every now and then, the ancient forests return, spiriting people away from their homes or work and trapping them within the twisting nether. These people are presumed missing by the world and rarely return, and even when they do, they are often without memory or means of identification. Within the ancient forests, these souls walk endlessly, pursued by the many dark forces that lurk within. There is no reason behind these events, no purpose, and no grand design. This, perhaps, is what is most frightening to the modern mind. The idea that even in our so called age of reason, people can be taken away in the flash of an eye to a realm beyond our own, a realm which refuses to play by our limited notion of reality. You can never tell when it will occur or who will be taken next. It is as random as death itself. No search party could find you. No priest or holy man could pray for you. Friends and family would be powerless. This is no fairy tale, but the fate of hundreds every day. How, you may ask, do you protect yourself? The answer is simple. You don't. Live every moment of every day as if it were your last. Find happiness in the smallest of things and do not be quick to anger, for this world is fleeting, and no one knows what awaits us when our time finally comes. Oh, the mind, the hollow void of your skull and electricity that keeps you alive, based on ever changing but firm instincts. The very mass that is you, your consciousness, all in one small, fragile pack of tissue. But as we know, electricity can be manipulated. You can be manipulated. Everything you know, say, think, and do is all electricity, like an overgrowing photography collection. Everything passes through the brain to be confirmed and then remembered. As an old saying goes, you forget 1,000 things every day. So, if the brain was such a good firewall, why would you still see shapes in the middle of the night? Eerie noises haunting you, only to be confirmed as something else. Well, it is simple. Why are humans afraid of snakes, storms, and war? We learned our lesson. We found that these things kill us, and we should stay far away from any source of these events. So, as for these shapes, we learned our lesson. We found that these things can also kill us, just as the previous threats. What phobia is pulling the threads, telling your brain to be wary of something you are told you are making up? All the studies, all the facts, and yet you still fear your midnight hallucinations. It is less simple than many would like to prove, but can be summed up with one word: coexistence. Just because humans forgot these beings exist does not mean they have not slaughtered us in the past. And they certainly have not gone away. These stealthy beasts have taken kids who were declared missing. They look like anything they can copy. That is why human shapes and beast-like shapes both appear. You forget 1,000 things every day. Don't forget again.
That's right, baby! Come here, hey, hey.
You want me to take it? Sorry.
Since the beginning of existence or of our sentience, we've always sought meaning into our existence. Why are we here? Who created us? More importantly, where do we go when we die? There are many ideas of the places we could go after we die. Mostly, we do have a concept of a good place. This is heaven, paradise, Shangri-La, and among others. This is where the charitable, honest, kind-hearted people go. So religious society tells us, and what we all can really agree with. It could have a landscape of clouds, floating angelic people, and be a world free of pain and suffering. Then, there's also a consensus that there is another place, quite the opposite. This is the bad place, where sinners of carnal and unfathomable pleasure go to spend eternity in isolation, torture, or just to burn. This is hell, Xibalba, Tartarus, and among others. In early religions, this hell was viewed as a place of isolation, devoid of love, companionship, and light. When Christianity came along later in the late Roman Empire, the punishment and fire were added as details. But despite these two places, there has been speculation of a third plane of existence. It has been dubbed purgatory. This is described as an in between place, a place where souls were neither bad enough for the fires of hell, yet not good enough to be exposed to the light of paradise. Here, they toil for eternity, walking through an empty plane of existence where they wish for something better. Are you now starting to see the illusion? Most people in our history do and did believe in a life after death, in the existence of a paradise and a hell. And yet, there was stipulation of this purgatory, and we have yet to prove that either and all exist. And more importantly, we have religions that meditate and pray for our world to be better. They practice their faith to show to their base deity that they deserve the lights of said paradise. They pray for the sick to become healed and the sinners to become clean and gentle, all the while wishing and praying and waiting for their chance to be taken by their deity into the lights and splendor of their paradise. Why, you might ask? Because we are in purgatory, my dear friends.